Hi everyone again. We're back with Alex Plotvinov. He is ex ex product lead at Rike, and now is an entrepreneur and the CEO of Udo. And he will talk about the transition from product manager to CEO. Over to you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hi, Vladimir. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm going to talk a bit about this transition from product management to CEO with a bit of so more details here. So actually, I worked as a product manager in a corporation called Rike. Rike is a work management platform. But right now, it's around 1,500 people working in Rike. And I became a CEO of a pretty small startup, only early stage, called Good. And which means actually my experience, of course, worked for me, but it might be as a good food of thought for you, even if you're from other kind of environment working in product management, for example, in smaller companies and whatever. So first of all, my background, I started as a UX designer working in IT for, maybe 10 or 12 years ago. I've joined Rike in 2013 and transitioned from UX to PM and from PM to lead PM. And I was responsible mostly on user journeys that are pretty basic. I mean, something that people are doing every day. And all my work actually was pretty user customer centric. So then in 2020, I left Rike and started my own company called Good. This is a peer-to-peer recognition platform for employees, which means employees within Good can give each other some bonuses, accumulate points, and exchange it to some goods from the company. So it means that most of my experience actually are from B2B and SaaS. So my story that I want to tell you right now, starting in February 2020, when I left Rike, then I had some time to think, to have a well-needed rest, surfing in Sri Lanka and so on. And after a couple of months of this kind of occasional vacation, I realized that actually I'm missing product management activities. I'm missing thinking of products, of users, solving problems, and so on. So we had to talk with my friends and partners about new ideas, and one idea came up, and we decided to start with Good. So I'm going to cover 5 lessons we learned from Good so far. It's about 2 years already. So first lesson is that the difference between scale-ups and startups. So most of PMs are working right now, where product market fit is already found, and where a company has money at least to pay the salary and attract more customers. And the most focus of product managers lies on expansion from 1 to N. Comparing what startups are. So in startup, it's your job as a CEO to find product market fits. You have pretty limited amount of money. As a PM, me personally, I've used to work in scale-ups and think about product as a scale-up. Big companies, about things that are already working, about attracting customers and so on. So actually the environment changed everything. And when I started working on a couple of takeaways here, first, it's really hard to think small again when you came from a big company, from a big numbers and so on. So I would really suggest, it's pretty common suggestion to entrepreneurs, to someone who starting something new, is to try to think small, try to work on things that are not scaling up yet, just to find its product market fit, confirm it on the market, and count your unit back to the point 2, where you have to confirm product market fit again, make some tweaks, and then expand. Yeah. So another one lesson is It pretty surprised for me actually that building great product is not enough. So working in Right, and especially with UX background, of course, I had a thought like, if we will be in terms of fulfilling needs of our customers and so on, success will go. So as a result, we found out that, and actually, one of the points here is that product managers are quite idealistic by the nature. So it's expected from product manager to deliver best products to customers, to understand their needs, to be pretty customer user centric. And the kind of surprising news that bad products might be successful and great might be not. And there are a lot of examples actually on the market. There are a lot of examples of products with hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. However, they're still having pretty bad UX, pretty bad customer journey experience. Yeah, and as a result, actually, you may end up build a great, easy of use with nice features product, which will be not needed on the market. So I would really, I actually learned from other entrepreneurs that most of successful businesses are starting from opportunity, not the vision. So it means that it's pretty rare, in my experiences, to find an entrepreneur who really made a successful startup or successful business from starting from the vision first. And also, it's pretty important to learn more about channels, about sales process, marketing, and model, because they can be a key of success. So even despite the fact that great products is a necessary starting point, there are still things that make a dramatic effect on what what results you'll get. So next one is considering your strengths and weaknesses. So I would say PMs are having pretty similar strengths and weaknesses. Maybe it's not something that listed here. It's validated for me. However, I think it might be pretty common. So we are good in building vision and strategy. We are quite user-centric, and we're familiar, of course, working with dev team. It's our day-to-day job, and we are pretty practiced in prioritization. However, our weaknesses, or my weaknesses, are in sales marketing process. And of course, I've actually had a lot of work doing with marketing and with sales guys, with customer-facing team working in Rike. However, when you're starting something new and you have to build your own sales process, you have to build your understand how marketing works, how channels works. You really have to make a big leap here. So same thing for finance, for paperwork. Incorporating company. Our company is incorporated in the United States. Actually, push you to really go deep into things that you're not familiar with. So, a couple of takeaways here. There might sound pretty generic, but I think it's one of the most important from the whole presentation. So, first one is to capitalize on strengths. It means to me in practice that it's really better to go with challenges on the product side than on the marketing and sales. So we product managers are usually pretty familiar with product challenges and can really do good job here. And I would really suggest to avoid strategies that are building on weaknesses. In our case, in case of YouGood, we have a pretty big sales cycle because our target customer is 200 plus employees, which means we really have to go deep into this step-by-step sales cycle, making demos, attracting like top managers from companies, working with them step by step. So usual cycles deal may take more than months and so on. So next time, in case if I would think about the startup, I would really think about make a product-centric thing that would attract customers directly. And in case if you still want to build something that require a big progress on this weakness or on your weaknesses parts, I would suggest to find partners or hire some right people to cover these weaknesses. So next one would be about learning from other entrepreneurs. So me personally, and I guess it might be pretty common for other PMs, we are learning from each other, especially even right now. And this creates an illusion of understanding how everything works from product manager perspective, how business works, how to start things, how to deliver things. And I would say that I actually learned much more about business starting my company than from years working in existing company, right? So another point here is that startups have a pretty high levels of uncertainty, and it still something that is familiar for product manager to work with things you don't know, and you have to figure out what the vision is, what the strategy is, and how to deliver that in the best way. However, when you're working as a seller, when you start working as a CEO, you have to really understand that these levels that you have right now, they are actually common for other entrepreneurs that starting their own products, and this is not your unique, quite bad situation. It's actually something that people are facing when they starting a company. So last thing that startups are usually doing common mistakes. So you really can save months just from 1 hour conversation with entrepreneurs who are launched something already. So the first takeaway would be talk to entrepreneurs actually. And I mean, sometimes I really like these talks. Even if I'm not learning something, dramatically new, still it empowers me a lot. It fulfills me by the energy of other entrepreneurs and make a big value for me. So another point here is to find a mentor. It's pretty common thing in our industry. So I'd really suggest to find someone who are doing stuff that you are going to do in 3 or 5 years, and you really can learn from. And actually, people are ready to share their experience and ready to provide you with some really great insights about how things work. Surprisingly, as I said in the previous slides, mistakes are common. They are so common that that's it's even just unbelievable. But still, you can save months of work and money and everything just from learning these insights from existing entrepreneurs. So last advice would be, or lessons actually I learned would be shipping to learn. So I've spent years working in Reich with some thoughts about new projects and new products, but I didn't launch it. I didn't really make progress with that working in the company. I don't know, maybe it's just my personal thing, but I would guess that people working in a product management role, they are dedicated to things that are doing, and they it's pretty hard to them to really think about 2 separate products at the same time. But I would say that it's really important to start earlier, because you really learn from practice. You really learn from things you're doing here, and it's important to put your skin in a game and see how things work from the real experience. So my suggestion here is just don't waste time adapting on your ideas, your projects, what you're going to do, and just start doing it as soon as possible. Some research is showing that the distribution of startup founders who are successful is that people who are 40 to 48 years are more successful than people who are less than 30 years. And at the same time, I believe that most of these founders, had 3, 4, 5, 6 attempts to start their business earlier, and that's where their experience they really got is from these attempts. So I guess that's it from me. We have 40 minutes yet left on questions. I would be really happy to answer. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Alex, for the presentation. And yes, we have some questions. And I encourage everyone on YouTube stream and here in Zoom to ask the questions in the chat, and I will address them to Alex. But we do have already several questions here. The first one would be, can you elaborate on what do you mean under start with opportunity, not vision?
Yeah, sure. So I had an interesting experience talking with 5 or 6 entrepreneurs who launched their, big companies so far, but they're in the beginning of each one. And when I asked them what actually leads you to choose this particular idea or whatever, so 5 from 6 told me that actually they learned from existing market what they took what already worked and put it into right environment. And there's no one really told me something like I had a vision to build a product that will make a better world and so on. These guys were really kind of opportunity focused, so they found some place where business can generate money, and then they started working on it. And it doesn't mean that their products are not good. It means just that they started from this point. And I would say that me personally, it was really hard to switch from this. It's still hard actually to switch from this visionary first thinking to make it more business-ish, to think more about opportunity first.
Yes, completely agree. I also see it on my path from product manager to entrepreneur. We also take some of the current opportunities, but we envision our company like in a few years where it's meant to be when we just defined our vision in first place. So I see the same in our field as well. So the second question is, okay, just checking YouTube in parallel, would be, how did you address the weaknesses that you mentioned, especially building up the sales processes, the fundraising, what you haven't done, I assumed, before you started your entrepreneurial career?
Yeah, actually, I thought that if I will learn about that more, I can do it on my own. And I'm not quite sure this is the best approach. However, it was really important for me to deep dive into the sales process and build it in terms of hiring sales, working as a sales actually on the first couple of months, I guess. So my approach was to really deep dive into that, learn from all materials I can find, talk to other people who are doing the same in the sales or marketing field, then try it by my own, then realize that actually it's really important to attract sales guy who can help us with that on the market side in US. And then I think if I would have an option to make it another time, I would really think to find a partner who can help me and cover this part of the business, since it's never really easy to chase that amount of expertise that you really need to build it in a good way. So
I see. Do you have any co-founders at your company?
Yeah, and our team, and actually it's pretty product based. Me as with a product manager background, and my two partners who are both, I would say, engineers with product mind. So yeah, we actually don't really have people from in the founding team that worked on marketing and sales parts.
Okay, understood. Thanks. And I think another question that goes in line with the previous one is around what can you recommend for entrepreneurs networking?
For entrepreneurs that working already?
For networking, for example.
Oh, networking. I see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see. So I'm not sure if it's ads or not. I actually participate in a camp called Use Skills this summer, and where we, other people who starting their businesses or just thinking about that, we met several existing entrepreneurs with pretty good traction already, like founder of Ozon, of Growth Food, and other companies. So we had a pretty interesting conversations that took more than 3-4 hours for each person, for each speaker, and yeah, it was pretty a good experience in terms of there was an opportunity to ask all the questions we had, to really go through the paths that people made with their company and understand their background. Me personally, I actually really like to, I have a lot of friends from Reich, and people from Reich actually had some pet projects or existing new businesses that they launched, and they also have friends. So it's pretty common to go to your colleagues and ask if someone are doing something interesting and so on.
Cool, thank you. I would also add here that I attended my first product camp in 2014 in Belarus, in Minsk, and it was also a very excited place to be and to meet new people and to do networking. And at that place, I also met entrepreneurs who transitioned from product manager to the owner of their own company. So I would say that's a great community to develop yourself as an entrepreneur. And another question that I have here is, being a new company, how do you handle competition when there is another company in the same or closer field which built already the same product or similar product, which is big and since several years in the market?
Oh yeah, I guess this is a main challenge for youth right now, because the market of recognition platforms is pretty crowded already. So I would say that this is not a challenge of, when you're already started company. This is it will be better to have this challenge before you chosen the particular market and the idea of the product. So if you right now already in that situation, I would say that you definitely have to think about your strengths. For example, if you see that you can make some POs on the product side to make the right differentiators for your customers, it's a way to go. Also, I've learned that it's really important to understand customers, what's happening in the customer's head. So our customers are HRs in the big companies, and me personally, I'm not an HR. Of course, I had, I've worked with other HRs, but it's not my own problem. We're not solving the problem that we actually have. We are not HRs. We're not solving. We're solving, but we're solving something that really matter to HRs. So that's why the answer for me is to go and speak with them, understand what they goals of the customer segment. What do they really think about on a daily basis? What kind of tools they are looking for? What are the goals within the organization? Like, is that to make a better employee satisfaction, or is it just simply being promoted or something like that? So it's really important to understand their deep motivations behind their actions, and then to input this research results into your work on this differentiator. So yeah, these two suggestions would be, I guess, the major ones.
Okay, thank you. And another question is regarding the value that YouGood delivers. I would like to ask, for example, I'm a product manager and I would like to improve a corporate culture in my company. So how can YouGood help me in that?
Yeah, so YouGood actually, and that kind of tools, they are creating this informal, non-formal level of communication within the formal organization. So especially right now when everyone works remotely, it's really hard to make this human connection between people, even within team. What to say about people from different departments. It's really hard to do that in a natural way. So YouGood and that kind of platforms, they're providing you a space where people can express their appreciation. They can, say like, thank you for helping me with the release or something, and appreciate some other person, and it will be publicly shown within the company feed into the feed, and everyone within the company can see how people appreciate each other. So I would say, and also we have GIFs actually, so people can use GIFs and make it more funny and informal. And so I would say that it would not really build a culture, but it can help you to make it less stressful and more friendly, I would say. So this is the main goal for that kind of product.
Thanks. I love the GIF part, especially when communicating with the team.
Oh yeah.
Thanks a lot, Alex, for the presentation and answering all the questions. We'll wrap up, and let me quickly check any more questions. No, all good. So now,
Great.
as we move on to the break and the panel discussion, we'd love if you can share a bit of your experience regarding today's conference. What are the insights you've gotten here, and what you didn't expect to get? So feel free to discuss it on our Slack group, either on YouTube chat or in special chat. Thanks, Alex, again for taking the time to be here.
Thank you, Vladimir, and thank you everyone for attending.